Well, hello and welcome over to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cardio. Today's episode is being brought to you by Built. The numbers of CBP apprehensions along the U.S. border have dropped significantly over the last year. They're down almost 70%. We're also going to take a look at how America is responding to all this. There's a lot of civil unrest going on in New York today, and truthfully, a lot of legal actions that have been taken by both the United States government and by local governments in response to all of this. This is a short clip out of War Room from Real America's Voice, and it's going to take us down to the southern border, and we're going to take a look at what's going on now.
Steve, just finished 3 raids last week with ICE. Now we're down embedding with Border Patrol to show the difference between what enforcement looks like now versus what it looked like just a month ago. And just to give you an idea, in the sector that I'm in, you're well aware of this. I'm going to turn the camera around. Actually, hold off on that for just a second. The sector I'm in right now, I was just talking to Border Patrol over here. They said this area 2 years ago in this sector, they were getting 2,500 people per day. Now it's under 100. So
wow.
In a month's time, they went from just the total invasion of our country to operationally workable numbers where we actually have operational control now of the border since President Trump has taken office. But as we speak, as we got here, the cartel is not stopping. I'm going to turn the camera over here. We've got some of our Border Patrol agents here. We just caught a group, just got one from Vietnam. I believe we've got some of the pictures the studio has there. But as we speak, up on top, and I'm zooming in on this mountain, Steve. The We Build the Wall is, if you look right in the middle of the screen, that's the Monument 2 right there. The wall is just on the other side of that, the wall that we built, the wall the American people built. Amazing work that project did. But just to the right of that, if you see right in the middle of your screen, that's an illegal alien up on top of the hill. There's a group of 4 up there right now waiting to cross over. And basically they play Red Rover, and wait for Border Patrol to get out of the way so they can come over.
Now, we're going to fast forward this real quick and just go take a look, because right up over here, you can see pictures of where they actually got apprehended. So is the border wall effective? Well, yeah, I think, it does have a decent effect, but really what's happened is this massive influx of U.S. troops down at the border, along with actually enforcing the freaking law. That's helped out significantly in all of this. Now, CNN did report that 18 spy missions within the last 2 weeks have been conducted down along U.S.-Mexican border, focusing on the cartels. Those missions even got conducted by the famous U-2 spy plane. Now, U.S. troops have moved down to the border. A lot of people don't exactly know how many. Just the Texas National Guard alone has deployed over 10,000. They're expecting to send another, I think it's an additional 400. You also have 3,600 active duty service members that are down the border right now, and they're putting in some pretty dang good work. That's a look at the temporary wall, if you will, that they've been able to construct and get up and get ready. The thing, it doesn't look great, but it looks 10 times better than it did before. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a deterrent that's going to keep people from climbing over. So your tax dollars are definitely going to good work down there. Now, the White House had reported that on January 29, 2025 alone, 962 illegal immigrant arrests were reported by ICE. They even documented some of the nasty criminals that have been gotten off the street just by enforcing the laws that are already on the books. People such as this gentleman right here, rape of a child. And this gentleman right here, sexual assault. This gentleman right here, sex assault on a child. This gentleman right here, sex assault on a child. This gentleman right here, sexual abuse. This gentleman right here, Tango Blast gang member. That's absolutely infuriating that those laws already existed and could have been enforced in order to get child predators, people convicted of violent sexual crimes off the streets and out of the United States of America. And while DOJ is busy looking into our federal government for corrupt spending, we need to actually be looking into corrupt government officials for why they weren't being allowed, ICE agents in particular, to be able to go allow them to go after some of these people and get them the heck out of the United States of America. How is America responding to all this? And I'm so glad you asked that question, because there's some people in the United States right now that are doing their absolute best to make sure that these illegal immigrants, some of them who are extremely violent offenders, as I just showed you, remain on the streets here in the United States. Now, look at what this lady did. She put together an entire map, all right, with active reportings of ICE here in the United States of America to help people avoid becoming arrested.
Hey everyone, so this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use the ICE tip line that we have created, and that is linked in my bio on the link tree. This is going to be on my laptop, so it might look a little different for you if you are on your cell phone, but it should function in a very similar way. So what's really cool is that this is an interactive map. So let's say that I am in the Los Angeles area and I want to see what the latest news is about ICE sightings. I can zoom in into Los Angeles. I can pick, let's say I'm over here by Riverside, look, and then click on the pin that was reported, and it looks like, as you can see, a couple things. Sneaky Shark, it's an anonymous username. You don't have to log in order to use this platform. This was posted 9 minutes ago in Riverside, California. Looks like ICE was drinking coffee at Starbucks. They were in a van on Burn Boulevard and Arlington.
I'm pretty sure that's Van Buren Boulevard. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But the fact that people are actually out there reporting this information, do I think it's legal? To an extent, sure. It's like when police set up speed traps on the highway in apps such as Waze, and I think even Google Maps and Apple like allows all of this stuff to be done, right? So iMaps or whatever the heck it's called, I forget. I think all of that allows you to like drop pins and things like that for what's going on. Sometimes it's for safety reasons, concern, blah, 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 whatever. They ended up determining, yeah, it's their right in order to do that. But the question is why these things are being put out, right? This one specifically looks like it is able, like it was put out, in my opinion, it definitely looks like it was put out in order to help people evade actually being detained and arrested by law enforcement officials. That's completely and totally different than what we were talking about inside of those maps. That's like inside of those like navigation platforms. That's a totally different ballgame. So the question is that going to be looked at? I don't know. I mean, maybe if you're a federal investigator watching this video, it might be a good idea to check that out. Just throwing it out there. Now, Nick Sorter actually put this information out that I'm about to go over. He put a post out that said NYPD is making arrests at anti-ICE protest in New York City. This comes just hours after Tom Homan met with New York City Mayor Adams, who agreed to allow ICE to use Rikers Island to house illegal immigrants. Check this crap out. People are actually pissed off that New York is allowing Rikers Island as a temporary holding location for these illegals that they are picking up. Pretty sure that one sign right there says, yep, it does. To get to our neighbors, you have to go through us. And then right before that, there was somebody holding up a sign said that, like, cancel ICE, basically, or stop funding ICE. I can't remember. My mind is blown by the stupidity that I see inside of this. About 40% of Americans rent where they live. They don't own their home. They don't own their apartment. They rent. They pay rent. Now, if you haven't heard of Built and you're one of those almost 40% of Americans, you are about to thank me. You can be earning points on rent when you pay your rent through Built, and you don't even have to check with your landlord to get started. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points towards. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/Rob. That's joinbuilt.com/Rob. Make sure to use the URL so they'll know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/Rob to start earning points on your rent payments today see inside of this country. For the love of God. For the love of God. I just showed you the violent offenders that ICE was able to get out of this country. I mean, at least make a sign that says, please only deport violent offenders that are raping children, right? Something like that. And the funny part to me about all of this is if you look at some of the people that are over here, you got somebody wearing a keffiyeh right down over here in the bottom right. It's almost like these are the same exact protesters that were causing issues not that long ago in the Free Palestine movement. Gosh.
Someone, can you get my bicycle, please?
Shame on you, great trader.
Abolish ICE. That is what the American sentiment's currently sitting at over inside of New York, or at least so it would seem with all these protesters running around the streets. But I don't really think that's the whole story. I think most Americans, as a matter of fact, are perfectly okay with our U.S. Customs and Enforcement officers actually going after these criminals who are here illegally inside of the United States of America. As a matter of fact, I know the majority of America is, because Trump basically ran on that policy to be able to clean up our streets and get rid of these sanctuary cities, and they've taken great actions in order to make it happen. Now, not everybody is happy, right? Not everybody's happy. You're never going to please everybody, and it seems like the sanctuary cities are the ones that are most ticked off by all of this. Denver Public Schools actually filed a temporary restraining order. This is a memo that they ended up kicking out to the Denver Public Schools community, and I quote, "Today, Denver Public Schools filed a temporary restraining order to immediately stop DHS from revoking sensitive location status for schools. This emergency filing comes after several ICE arrests took place in neighborhoods surrounding some of our schools last week, negatively impacting some DPS families and students." So they weren't even on Denver Public Schools property. They were in the neighborhoods arresting people that were attending the public schools in Denver. Now, odd that DPS felt like, I don't know, filing a freaking restraining order. Based on what? Enforcing the law where they're allowed to enforce the law? Some of this stuff is just designed to piss people off and make them seem like they're doing more than they really are. And the reality is, at the end of the day, they are enforcing U.S. laws against criminals. And that's okay. And any attempt to get in between should be considered an illegal act. Now, that is unless law enforcement is acting unconstitutionally, which I have yet to see. Actions such as this one at the beginning of the video appear to be very, very, very legal just on face value. And they are attempting to identify who these people are inside of this video, because imagine that, criminals lie. You're about to see them walk up over here to these people in just a sec and take pictures of their faces. And what they're doing is there's actually technology now that law enforcement officers have. That's facial recognition. I used to use it when I was working the street. And all you got to do is take a picture of their face and upload that sucker, and your freaking phone that you're holding in your hand as a law enforcement officer is going to be able to match it to anybody else with a percentage of certainty as you're looking through them. And so that's what they're doing when they're walking up and taking pictures of these people. They're trying to validate and verify exactly who they are. Earlier on in this video, one of the guys says that he was born in the United States and he's a U.S. citizen. Cool. Well, they are verifying it. I don't know what they're there for or the reasons behind, their interactions, what they're doing at the house, but nothing seems illegal about what they're doing. So I don't know why people are complaining about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. Peace, love, happiness, God bless. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and turn your dang notification bell on. I'm out of here.